What's up? This is Alex Chu. Today I have a very interesting chapter to share. I want to talk about the journey of the West, okay? And it's going to be a long talk, but this book is extremely prophetic. It is the new Torah that everybody is expecting, you know. Jesus, you know, how the Christian, they say, oh, the New Testament is the new Torah. No, that's not true. The book, the novel Journey to the West, the Monkey King, that's the new Torah. I'm going to prove to you. But before I start the chapter, before I start this episode, I want to tell you, my name is Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented the physical mortality rings. These are the rings that you put on your small fingers during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal, you know. For example, I'm already 48. I'll be 50 really soon, you know. I look very thin, you know. I like to show off my belly, sorry. Look at that. For a 50-year-old man, for a 48-year-old man, I never work out. You know, I only cook. That's all I do, you know. I don't need a shave. Look at that. I don't have puffy face, you know. I don't need to grow a beard. I could shave because I don't have a puffy face. If you go to my website, there's a lot of people give me good reviews, you know. Amazon customer reviews, 4 stars. Most customers give me 4 stars or 5 stars. Okay, if you want to live forever, go to livemuchlonger.com. Livemuchlonger.com. Link is at the bottom of this video. So let's move on to the discussion about the journey to the West. What's up? Today I want to talk about the book Journey to the West. You know, this book is extremely prophetic. And in the first chapter, okay, it's stated that this book is the new Torah that everybody's looking for. You know, a lot of Jewish scholars saying that, oh, in Jeremiah chapter 31, you know, Jeremiah promised that God will give mankind a new covenant. And this new covenant will be a new covenant between God, Judah, and Israel. Okay? And this covenant will be carved right into your people's hearts. Okay, and lot of Christians say that new covenant is the New Testament, right? But not so, because when Jesus was alive, you know, the tribe of Israel, the 10 tribes, you know, of the state of Israel has already been lost. When Jesus walked the earth, okay, there's only the state of Judah, right? I mean, Israel was nowhere to be found. So this Jeremiah chapter 31 is obviously talking about a new Torah that is to come in the future, you know. And that new Torah is, based on what I know, is the Chinese novel Journey to the West. Because in the first chapter, it has already stated, first chapter has already stated that this is the new Torah, okay? Let me play you a song from Journey to the West from a TV show. Anyway, yeah, in Jeremiah chapter 31, in Jeremiah chapter 31, okay, it says that there will be a new Torah, there will be a new covenant, and the new covenant will be made between God, Judah, and Israel. You know, it's a brand new covenant. It's not going to affect the old covenant, you know. What I mean is, hold on, let me stop that music for a while, but you sort of got the idea of it. It's not going to affect the old covenant, you know. Whenever God makes a covenant with people, right, He always keeps the old promises, okay? So Jeremiah 31 promised a new covenant, and Christians say it's the New Testament. No, I say it's a Journey to the West. Let me tell you why, okay? Because if you read Journey to the West, all the characters were there. I mean, all of the characters were there. Jesus was there, okay? And they describe Jesus in such a way that you recognize him. You recognize him as Jesus. The Jews are there. The Christians are there. The the Catholic Church is there. The Muslims are there, and the Chinese, Xi Jinping. Okay, he's there too. Let's get into the chapter 1. Okay, where it says that, where it tells people, like it tells you in your face that this is the new Torah, okay? I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to read some in Chinese, okay? In the first chapter, it says, 覆盖群生养之人，发明万物皆成善，欲知造化会元功，须看西游释厄传。欲知造化会元功, it means if you want to know the future, plus the combination of all the little efforts made by God, then you have to read this Journey of the West. 欲知造化会元功, 造化 means the future, okay? If you want to know the future, 会 means a combination. 元功 basically means the Torah, the Jewish Torah. Because if you look at the dictionary, okay, the Torah is based on the verb yada. It means to bring about a unified effect by means of many little impulses. 元功, it means exactly that. 元 means a unified. 元 means unified. Okay, like a unified power, some sort of unified power. 功 means accomplishments. Okay, 造化 means future. 会 means combine with 元功. 元功 means unified with little accomplishments. If you want to know the future combining with the Torah, that's basically what it means. Then you must read this book, The Journey to the West. Okay? 欲知造化会元功，须看西游释厄传. That's exactly what it means. If you want to know the future combining with the Torah, you have to read this Journey to the West book. Okay? And if you look at the chapter 1, if you keep reading, there's going to be something that's very interesting. It basically says that the whole world has 4 continents. See, this book was written back in the 16th century, okay? Back in a Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty turning into Qing Dynasty in the 16th century. That's like just a little bit after Columbus discovered a new world. Basically, it says it has 4 continents, but then there's another. It says that there's another country that's way out in the ocean. Okay, I'm going to read some of this in Chinese. 世界之间最分为4大部洲，曰东幸神州，曰西牛贺州，曰南产部洲，曰北距泸州. And then it's basically, it says there's four continents, right? And then I'm not going to read Chinese anymore. I'm just going to tell you what it says, okay? And then it says that this book represents the continent of Asia. This book only represents Asia. And then it says, out in the ocean, way out in the ocean, there's this one country. It's called Aolai. It's called Aolai. That country is called Aolai. And then near the ocean, okay, there's this, right in the middle of the ocean, there's this one very famous mountain. It's called Huaguo Shan. Huaguo, yeah, that's the name of it, okay? Shan means mountain, Huaguo is the name of that mountain. And then it says, this mountain is the head of the 10 states. It is the three three islands. It's the source of three islands. Head of 10 states, source of three islands. Think about that. In Revelation 16, okay, it talks about there's an earthquake, and then the big city of Babylon split into three parts, right? And then in Revelation 11, it says there's an earthquake, and then 1/10 of a city fell. Okay, basically Israel is the 10 states. Israel. The lost tribe of Israel is the 10 states, right? It says, yeah, out in the ocean there's this one famous mountain. The mountain name is Huaguo. Okay, and it's the head of the 10 states. It is the, I don't know, combination. It is the source of the three islands. So this is talking about, it's talking about Revelation over again, It's talking about, this is Babylon, okay? Huaguo. Huaguo is Babylon. I believe it's Francisco, Huaguo is Francisco. Because, St. Francis, which is San Francisco, right? He's like an Italian priest. He saw stigmata. Basically, he met Jesus in the mountain. He fast for 40 days in the mountain. And then when he saw Jesus approaching, he got stigmata. Basically means he has piercing in his arm and in his legs, right? So today we have a city called San Francisco, Basically, okay, anyway, this is talking about, what I'm trying to say is this, okay? This is talking about, somebody wrote this stuff back in the 16th century, that there's this country that's way out in the ocean, and it has nothing to do with the four continents, okay? It has nothing to do with Europe, Asia, Australia, and Africa. In the 16th century, people in Asia, they only know these four continents. They didn't know about America, you understand? They didn't know about South or North America. So talking about a country like way in the ocean, it has a Huaguo. It's this very famous mountain. And this Huaguo is the head of the 10 states, and also the source of three islands. Okay, so basically, Journey to the West, the first chapter is saying that country is the United States, and it coincides with Babylon in the Revelation, Book of Revelation. Let's talk about the main characters. The main characters is, of course, is Monkey King, Sun Wukong. Yeah, that's his name, Sun Wukong. He used to be a bad guy. He used to be a demon, He basically, Sun Wukong is a demon that he thinks he's better than, he's a monkey, right? That he's born out of the rock. And after he achieved immortality, he practiced Chinese Kung Fu, and he gained lots of followers. He thinks he is so good that he can ascend, he could fly all the way up to the heaven, and then he challenged the host of heaven. He beat people up with his rod of iron. He has his rod of iron. He started to beat up all the hosts of heaven. He beat up the army of heaven, right? But then eventually, Buddha tricked him and then cast him into a mountain. He was thrown back into a pit. He was basically tossed into a pit and got trapped in a mountain. But then later on he is allowed to. He was trapped in the mountain for 500 years. But then later on he was allowed to redeem his sin and allow him to send a guy. There's this normal guy. This is a monk. He doesn't have any kung fu power. He doesn't have any power. It just he wants to travel to the West to get some doctrine, to get a new scripture, like a new scripture. It's somewhere in the West. He has to travel to the West. It's in that book. It's basically that place is India. He has to travel to that place to get a new scroll. Okay, and then somehow Buddha allow this monkey to get out of allow him to come out of the cave, right? Allow him to come out of this mountain, and he has to basically escorts this monk to India to get this scroll, to get this new scripture. Now that coincides, okay, the Monkey King coincides with the Isaiah chapter 14, Isaiah chapter 14 is talking about Lucifer, right? The son of the dawn, right? Lucifer, how you have fallen, you think you are so good, you are equal to heaven. And guess what? This monkey, his name is Qi Tian Da Shen. Qi Tian Da Shen actually means a sage equal to heaven. Yeah, that's exactly what it means, a sage equal to heaven. If you read Isaiah 14, it coincides with the story of this monkey, Isaiah 14 say, you think you are so good, you can challenge, the hosts of heaven, and you can sit in heaven and rule as the king of heaven. Yeah, that's exactly what the monkey did. The monkey ascend into heaven, and he started to beat up people in heaven. And he said, from now on, I want to be the king of heaven. You guys can all go to hell. I want to be the king of heaven. But then they caught him. At the end, they caught him. And then they plunged this guy down back down to earth, and then trapped him into a mountain. If you read Isaiah 14, that's exactly what happened. They threw Lucifer back down into earth, right? He was trapped in a tomb. He was trapped in a stone cave, like a stone pit. And then eventually he will be released during the end time, right? And if you the Messiah, right? The Messiah has a rod of iron. The Messiah will unite the world with a rod of iron, right? And the Sun Wukong guy, his weapon is the rod of iron. His weapon is the magical rod of iron. Okay. And then he was trapped under a mountain. What happened is when he was trapped under a mountain, he made a gamble with the Buddha. The Buddha came, said, asked him, hey, what makes you think you are good enough to be the king of heaven? Right? He said, I am physically immortal. I am immortal, and also I have 72. I know how to change into 72 people. I can change my face 72 times, whatever, and I can leap, one leap. I can reach like 108,000 miles. 108,000 miles. And then Buddha made a gamble with him. Buddha said, "Hey, let me make you a wager, okay? If one leap, you can leap out of my palm." Buddha's a huge guy. He's like a giant, right? And he said, "Okay, you stand in the middle of my palm. If one leap, you can leap out of my palm, then you know what? You win. I'm going to allow you to be the host of heaven. You be the new king of heaven. I'll tell the host of heaven to get out, and you be the new king." And then Sun Wukong said, "Okay, sure, why not? You don't believe me, I'll leap." And then when he leaped out of his palm, right? And then he landed on at the edge of heaven. He saw the 5 pillars, right? He said, "Oh, this must be the boundary. This must be the border line of heaven. You know what? I'm just gonna pee here. I'm going to pee." And then he pee at one of the pillar. And then he also wrote. He took out his pen. He wrote a few words. He said, "Sun Wukong is here." Sun Wukong came here like that, on one of the pillar. And then when he came back to Buddha, right? He said, "Hey Buddha, see, I leap out of your palm, and I landed in some mountain, and it's like 5 pillars, and I wrote some words there." And then Buddha showed Sun Wukong his palm, right? Buddha said, "No, you did not leap out of my palm at all. Look at one of my finger." And then the monkey saw that on Buddha's finger, one of his fingers, the stuff that he wrote that Sun Wukong was here, right? And then he also peed on the Buddha's hand. And Buddha said, "You lost the wager." So Buddha, basically shoved Sun Wukong into the pit, back down to earth, shove him into a pit, put a seal on top of the mountain, so saying that you cannot get out. You cannot get out unless somebody peel off the seal. And the mountain is called Wuxing Shan. It means 5-pillar mountain. We have that mountain today. It's the Georgia Guidestone. If you look at Georgia Guidestone, it has exactly 5 pillars, right? With a seal, with a master stone, on top of it. And then if you look at that master stone, somebody spilled like paint. I don't know if the builder of the stone poured paint on top of it or what happened. There's a paint. It looks like reddish paint or brown paint on top of the stone, And then on the pillar, there's writing all over it. There's Chinese and Hebrew and all that shit. Writing Arabic and all that shit. There's writing on all 5 pillars. Right? And then there's another stone right beside the Georgia Guidestone. It says, something is buried here at, it didn't say when. And then this treasure will come out at. So what I'm saying is this journey of the West, this prophecy fulfilled today at Georgia Guidestone. This Sun Wukong guy, he's buried in Georgia Guidestone, And then there's a red paint or brownish paint on top of the Georgia Guidestone. This must be the urine of Sun Wukong, It must be the urine of Sun Wukong. And then Sun Wukong writing is also on the pillars, right? Now let's talk about the monk, okay, that Sun Wukong is supposed to, once he got out of the cave, he was trapped there for 500 years. He got out of the cave because Buddha came again, right? Buddha allowed him out of the cave. And he is supposed to escort this guy. His name is Xuanzang, okay, to escort Xuanzang to the West to obtain some new scripture. Xuanzang, it means, the meaning Xuanzang, it means dark treasure, okay? Yeah, dark treasure. If you read, I believe it's Isaiah 37, I forgot the chapter. I believe it's Isaiah 45, Isaiah 45. It says Cyrus, right? The Cyrus, the anointed, Jewish Messiah, the anointed. You will find the dark treasure. You will find the dark treasure. And then once you find the dark treasure, you can basically become the Messiah. You can, restore Judah and Israel and all that shit, And this guy, the monk that this Sun Wukong guy has to escort to the West to obtain the scripture, his name is Xuanzang. It means exactly dark treasure, okay? And then the Tang Dynasty emperor renamed him Tang Sanzang. Sanzang means 3 treasures, okay? You look at Jesus, when he was born, right? There's three wise men from the east, right? Gave him exactly 3 treasures: frankincense, myrrh, and gold, right? I think the frankincense, myrrh, and gold basically means the 3 religion that surrounds Jesus. One is Judaism, right? Judaism is gold. Frankincense probably means Christianity. And myrrh. Myrrh means Islam. Frankincense and myrrh are used during burial, like when you try to embalm somebody, back in the days when somebody died, you embalm the corpse, right? You use frankincense and myrrh. I think Islam and Christianity is frankincense and myrrh because those two religions appeared just because Jesus died. You understand? Those two religions appeared to memorialize Jesus. Only Judaism is gold, because gold never changed, Gold is like so pure, the gold form of gold doesn't change. So Judaism never changed. Judaism never acknowledged Jesus as the Messiah. You understand? And then this monk, Xuanzang, right, also known as Tang Sanzang, is basically he is the dark treasure or he is the three treasures. This monkey guy, the monkey king, is supposed to escort this guy to the west to obtain new scripture, right? And they have a new horse. They have a horse, a white horse. And that white horse also used to be some demon. And the monk is to ride on this white horse. The white horse represents the Catholic Church, because Jesus said, Peter, you are the foundation stone of my church. And in Catholic, the monks, they all wear white, right? So the white horse represents Catholic Church. And there's this, on the way journey to the west, there's a pig demon also joined their group, the pig is also one of the bodyguards of Xuanzang, which is the Jesus guy, right? Pig represents Christianity, The reason is because, the Muslims, they call Christians pig, Because, Christians, they are allowed to eat pork, right? And Christians, they don't, they say, oh, because Jesus has already come, Messiah already appeared, so we don't have to follow the tradition of the Sabbath anymore. We can eat anything we want. So, you know how pig is a dirty animal, right? It eats almost anything, So Muslims call Christians pig. And Muslims also call the Jews monkey. Okay? And there's this in the Quran, in the book of Surah Baqarah, right? Chapter 2. In the Quran, it says that the Jews are apes. And it also, in chapter 2, chapter 2, the verse 65, it says the Jews are apes. And also in verse 66, sorry, in verse 62, it says the Jews that does not obey the Sabbath, right? The Jews that does not obey the Sabbath, they are trapped under a mountain, trapped under Mount Sinai. And in verse 65, it says the Jews are apes. You see, that coincides with the Monkey King character. You understand? He used to be a demon. He was a bad monkey, right? So they trap him under a mountain until he is released to escort Jesus to the west to obtain new doctrine. And then if you look at and then there's another demon. Okay, his name is Sha He. There's a pig demon. His name is Zhu Bajie. That's the he holds like a rake. Okay, he holds a rake. The rake looks like a cross. The rake looks like a Christian cross. Okay. Rake is like you use that to gather the haze, right? You rake the ground to gather haze. The rake look like a cross. And then there's a Sha He. It's like a sand river monster. Okay. His weapon is like, it looked like a mooncrest sword. It looked like a mooncrest fork. Anyway, there's a mooncrest. you know how moon represents Islam, right? Moon crest always represents Islam, you know. So the pig demon and the Sand River monster also became the bodyguard of this Xuanzang guy, this Jesus guy. The first person that appeared is the Monkey King. Xuanzang was walking to the west all alone by himself, right? And then Monkey King was released. And then the angel, Guan Yin Buddha, was employed by Buddha himself to release, to tell the Monkey King that, you know, there's this Xuanzang, the Jesus guy coming. You have to escort this guy to the west. And then the pig appeared. And then they pick up the pig on the way. And then they pick up the Sand River monster, you know. And then the Jesus already has the white horse. So these 4 people plus the white horse, they travel to the west to obtain scripture, right? And check this out. Based on the description of this Monkey King, I already know who this Monkey King used to be, because the Monkey King, when he went to the dragon, the sea dragon king, right? He said, "Let me borrow your weapon." And he got somehow he got the rod of iron, right? He took the rod of iron from the sea dragon, and then the sea dragon also gave him a crown. The crown is called 凤雀紫金冠. 凤雀紫金冠 means the phoenix wings crown. And then 锁子黄金甲, it means the golden chainmail armor. And then a pair of boots, it's called 欧丝步云路. A pair of boots, okay? You know what? It looks exactly like Hitler. Hitler's hat, it also has the phoenix wing, right? He has the Vogel, the Vogel, right? He has a bird wing on his hat, and then his uniform is sort of it's sort of golden. Yeah, he has a golden. He's wearing a golden uniform. It's sort of like tan brownish gold looking color uniform. And he does have a pair of boots, right? The boot that the monkey is wearing it's a boot that he can basically step on cloud, you know, because he also got somebody gave him, you know, his master gave him a cloud. He said you could, if you know how to ride this cloud can help you leap 108,000 miles. You know, so remember based on Christianity or based on Judaism, the Messiah comes with a cloud, right? The Messiah also has a rod of iron that can rule the whole world. And based on Isaiah chapter 14, the Messiah used to be a bad guy, you know. And look at Hitler. How did he die? See the Allied, right? The French and the British, right? Did not allow Hitler to have an air force, right? Luftwaffe. But then Hitler secretly built up his Luftwaffe, you know, build up his the airplane force, you know, the airplane Messerschmitt, right? He built up lots of airplanes, lots of bombers, lots of strike fighters, and then eventually he challenged Britain and France in the air, right? So this Isaiah chapter 14, the Lucifer that, you know, went to heaven to do battle with the host of heaven. It's talking about World War II, you know, talking about Germany secretly built up its air force, you know, which were forbidden, right? You're not supposed to have an air force. He built an air force anyway. He challenged Britain and France, and then eventually the United States. But then eventually he lost. And Hitler, yeah, he died in a pit. He died in his bunker, right? Until now, they didn't find his body. They don't know where his body is, right? And Hitler's he's going to reappear again as the Jewish Messiah. You know, when he appears, he will escort Jesus to the West to obtain new scripture. Everything is there. The Georgia Guidestone's there. The pig demon is the Christians. The Sand River monster is the Muslims. And guess what? The Xuanzang, this monk that's riding on the white horse, everywhere he go, everybody knows about him. He's already famous. And then all the demons, they want to capture him. You know why? Because the demons, they all say, hey, I heard that if you eat this guy's flesh and drink this guy's blood, you can become immortal. I guarantee, I swear to God, man, I kid you not. I cannot make this shit up. If you read the book, or if you watch the movie, or watch the TV episode, that's exactly what every demon said. Every demon, okay, when the monkey, the pig, the Sand River monster, and this monk, Sanzang or Xuanzang, the three treasure or the dark treasure, when they arrive, all these demons, they conspire against this group of people, because the demons, they all want to eat this guy's meat and drink this guy's blood. Okay, the monk, I'm talking about the monk. There's a rumor, if you eat his meat and drink his blood, you're going to become immortal. What did Jesus say? Jesus said, right? Jesus said, here's the wine and here's the bread. Bread represents my meat and wine represents my blood. If you drink the wine, if you eat the bread, if you drink my blood and eat my flesh, you become immortal. That's exactly what Jesus said. And this book wrote about that, okay? So this monk guy is Jesus. You understand? And then there's another very important character, is Buddha, okay? See, Buddha, Shakyamuni, he died exactly 2,500 years ago. And then Buddha also made a prophecy. He said, I will return back to the world. I will reincarnate, okay, 2,500 years later. So Buddha said he's going to reincarnate right now. He's going to appear right now. And look at that. If you look in China, we have Xi Jinping. He looked exactly like Buddha. If you look at his face, he looked just like Buddha. He looked like every Buddha statue. Everybody can recognize it. That's the reason why all the Chinese, even Dalai Lama, admire Xi Jinping. Everybody, all the people who recognize the Buddha statue recognize Xi Jinping as the reincarnated Buddha. So even Buddha is here. See, the mountain that Buddha's palm turned into the mountain, Wuxingshan, the 5-pillar mountain, that's here too, the Georgia Guidestone. And then on top of Georgia Guidestone, there's a urine of the monkey, right? And there's writing on the Georgia Guidestone. The monkey also wrote on the Buddha's finger. It's all there. And then there's a seal, right? At Georgia Guidestone, it says, something is buried here it didn't say when though. And it says, and this treasure will come out and then it's left blank. You know why? Because Jesus said only God knows when, okay? Only God knows the day and the hour of, the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Son of Man, right? Not even the host of heaven, or not even angels, or any man knows the day and the hour of his coming. That's the reason why if you look at Georgia Guidestone, it says something was buried here and then something will come out only God knows when this. So basically the Messiah is buried here. You understand? The Messiah is buried in this mountain. In this Georgia Guidestone, 5-pillar mountain. Chinese call it 5-pillar mountain. And only Xi Jinping can open it. I think only Xi Jinping has the power to open this treasure, this Georgia Guidestone. And once this Georgia Guidestone was opened, when he left the seal, the monkey is gonna come out. The return of Adolf Hitler is gonna come out. So I pretty much covered everything, and then it has exactly 100 chapters, and there's 81 81 troubles. They on the journey to the West, they faced, this group of people faced 81 troubles, okay? I believe that's exactly 81 years, because in the Bible, David will rule for 40 years, and then Solomon will rule for 40 years. And then Solomon's son, I forgot his name, he lost the empire. He lost the empire of Israel. See, Israel used to be one united nation, right? And then when Solomon's son took over, he lost it like almost immediately. He lost it like within a year or something. And then I believe the new king, the king of Israel, his name is Jeroboam. And then he took the 10 tribes and then left only one tribe of Judah to the Solomon's son, right? So exactly 81 troubles. I believe that represents 81 years, you know. But anyway, you know, why don't you guys, so I'm going to leave a link at the bottom of this video, you know, so you guys can also go read the English version of this new, you know, the Journey to the West. But Journey to the West, oh, I forgot to say one thing. Journey to the West is the new Torah, you know, because Torah tells you what's going to happen with this, you know, tells you the reestablishment of Israel, right? Israel reestablished. But this Journey of the West clearly proves that China is probably the tribe of Judah. You know, because in chapter 1, Journey to the West, it says, this book represents Asia, which is China, you know. And then it's talking about there's another country in you know, like way out in the ocean, has a famous mountain, and this famous mountain is the capital of the 10 states. And then, you know, it's the source of 3 islands. You know, capital of 10 states and source of 3 islands. Think about it. In Daniel chapter, I believe it's chapter 8 or chapter 7, there's this one monster, you know, that rises out of the ocean. It has 10 horns. It has iron teeth and 10 horns. And then one little horn that rolls out, right? It pluck out of the three horns. It pluck away 3 horns that little horn rises out. Look at that, isn't that? Just like what this book is saying. There's this one famous mountain, okay? It's the capital of 10 states and also the source of 3 islands, right? So this famous mountain is also the little horn, you understand? So United States must be Israel. United States must be the tribe of Israel, the lost tribe of Israel. One day Judah and Israel, one day when the whole world discovered that this journey to the West is the new Torah, okay, that day everyone's going to believe in God. Everybody in the world is going to believe in God, okay, in their hearts, not just in tradition. Not just, oh, you know, once a year we celebrate the Sabbath, or, I mean, once in a while we celebrate the Sabbath, and once a year we celebrate the Passover, or, you know, whatever, you know, light the menorah. No. Not in tradition. In the future, once this book, The Journey to the West, is being recognized by everyone that this is the new Torah, then the whole world will celebrate, will worship God in their hearts. You understand? Not in tradition, but in the hearts. Anyway, you guys have to do your own study. You know, I talked too much already. Talk to you later.